The Super Nintendo is known as the Super Famicom in Japan. With well over 1.4 thousand titles to its name, the Japanese variant of the Super Nintendo has many games which are also exclusive to Japan. Here are the 10 most expensive Super Famicom games. Sutehakun was originally released for the failed Satellaview peripheral, which was essentially a satellite modem hooked up to a Super Famicom console, allowing for game and media downloads. Sutehakun later saw a retail cartridge release in 1999. In this title, you play as a colorless, penguin-like bird with a pointy beak on a mission to restore the scattered rainbow shards. Each level consists of inhaling and moving translucent blocks, as well as drawing in colored potions and injecting them into blocks to alter properties depending on color. The game rewards conservation of moves, as each level starts with a point allowance that decreases per action, encouraging puzzle optimization strategies. Later stages in the game are notorious for being exceedingly difficult. Despite its critical acclaim on Satellaview, the cartridge launch suffered poor exposure due to the Super Famicom's declining market by 1999, which made physical copies very scarce. As of January 24, 2025, Sutehakun officially joined the Nintendo Switch Online SNES library. A complete in-box Sutehakun is worth $690 US. Laser Birdie, also known as Laser Birdie Personal Golf Simulator, was released in 1995. As the title suggests, this game is in fact a golf simulator. The game was sold as part of a specialized kit that included a motion-sensitive golf club controller and sensor mat. This makes it one of the earliest motion-controlled console games. The game itself required detection of the sensor mat, which would be hooked up into controller port 2. Without the sensor mat, the game would refuse to boot, even when attempting to do so through emulation. Emulators would actually need a Pro Action replay code in order to bypass the peripheral check. However, this would still not guarantee full functionality. Manufacturing of this game was extremely limited, and there are only about 3,500 total units in existence. Consequently, actual gameplay footage of this title is not readily available, as the game is rarely seen outside of private collections. A complete in-box Laser Birdie is worth about $700. Metal Slater Glory Director's Cut was released on November 29, 2000 via Nintendo Power Flash cartridges. It was the last officially published Super Famicom title. Metal Slater was originally a 1991 NES/Famicom graphic adventure developed by HAL Laboratory. Known for its high production cost and long timeline for development, the original NES/Famicom version of Metal Slater Glory nearly bankrupted HAL Laboratory. Now, the director's cut for the Super Famicom was initially made available as pre-written Nintendo Power cartridges. From December 1st in the year 2000, users could also bring existing Nintendo Power memory cards to kiosks at loss and convenience stores in order to download the game for a fee. The director's cut of Metal Slater would include upgraded visuals, a completely new soundtrack, and added story scenes that were cut from the Famicom version due to space constraints. A Wii U Virtual Console version of this title was released in Japan on December 9th, 2015. There was also an unofficial English fan translation patch, which released just a few months ago in March. All in all, the Nintendo Power cartridge format and limited regional release make the original box copies very rare. Metal Slater Glory is worth about $715. Kirby no Kira Kira Kids, often referred to as Kirby Superstar Stacker, was initially released via Nintendo Power Flash cards on February 1st, 1998, and later as a standard Super Famicom cartridge on June 25th, 1999. Essentially a remake of the Game Boy game known as Kirby Star Stacker, it was remade for the Super Famicom, with enhanced graphics and a new story mode featuring Kirby and other familiar characters from the Kirby Superstar series. The gameplay revolves around stacking star blocks between two identical blocks, either horizontally or vertically, in order to clear them. Much like Tetris, but with an added chain mechanic and occasional bomb blocks and hard blocks that require two clears. Unlike its Game Boy counterpart, it supports both single and multiplayer modes. This game finally saw an official release outside of Japan in 2023 with the Nintendo Switch Online under its Western title, Kirby's Star Stacker. A complete in-box version of Kirby's Super Star Stacker with a sticker book is worth $800. Do-Re-Mi Fantasy was released in March of 1996. It serves as a sequel to the NES/Famicom title Milan's Secret Castle. Do-Re-Mi Fantasy is a platform-based adventure which spans across 7 themed worlds, with interconnected levels and boss fights. While its predecessor combined platforming with puzzle and exploration, Doremi Fantasy is more of a straight platformer. The main character Milan attacks enemies by blowing bubbles at them. Like the first game, Milan's bubbles can be used to open secret areas and paths throughout each level and reveal hidden items. A Virtual Console re-release arrived in 2008 under the import category without any translation. Doremi Fantasy is worth about $815 US. Gokenju Bokentai, roughly translated to Neighborhood Adventure Troop, is an RPG released on May 24, 1996. You play as Mana, a young girl in a modern Japanese town who's tasked by a mysterious entity calling itself God to rid the neighborhood of mischievous yokai. Mana recruits classmates as companions while her cat Yuzu narrates daily adventures. Each in-game day acts as a chapter that ends when her mother comes to drag her home. The game is structured around weekly training at preschool where Mana builds stats like strength, speed, or conversation through mini activities with friends. Chosen stats unlock special Sunday events. Sundays trigger adventure segments where you explore town and fight spirits using turn-based battles. This title is frequently compared to Earthbound due to its modern-day setting, young cast, humor, and yokai themes. No official English translation exists as this game was released with a modest print run and very limited exposure. A complete in-box Gokenju Bokentai is worth $910. Super Bomberman 5 Gold Cartridge is a rare Japan-exclusive variant of Super Bomberman 5. It was released on February 28, 1997. This variant was distributed exclusively via Koro Koro comic promotions and was not sold in stores. The Gold Cart variant of Super Bomberman 5 isn't just aesthetically pleasing to look at, it also has functional features which are exclusive to the Gold Cart variant. It includes 3 arenas, stages 11 through 13, without needing to unlock them via cheats or game progress. Achieving 100% on the regular Super Bomberman 5 cart unlocks Golden Bomberman in battle mode. With the Gold Cart though, this feature is unlocked from the get-go. The cherry on top is the cart itself, which has a nice shiny golden shell. Bomberman 5 in the Gold Cart variant is worth about $920. Kiki Kai Kai Tsukiyo Soishi was released in 1994. It is known in the West as Pocky and Rocky 2. Players control Sayo-chan, a shrine maiden who uses scrolls for ranged attacks and a purification rod for close combat. Levels feature traditional Japanese yokai as regular enemies, as well as multi-phase boss encounters. It includes a simple shop system where players use money from defeated foes to purchase items like power-ups, outfits, or option switches. The game also features multiplayer mode. Though this title is relatively common in both the US and Japan, complete inbox versions of the game today are quite rare, especially compared to loose carts which go for 1/10 of the price of complete inbox copies. A complete inbox Kiki Kai Kai Tsukiyo Soishi is worth $1.1 thousand. Magical Poppin' is a platformer released on March 10, 1995. In Magical Poppin', you play as a young princess from the magical kingdom of Toal. When the powerful magic gem is stolen by the Demon King, the princess sets out on a quest to retrieve it and bring peace back to her kingdom. The princess wields both a sword and magic spells which you unlock along your journey. Praised for its visuals, Magical Poppin' features vibrant colors, fluid animation, and detailed character movement, most notably featuring expressive idle animations, crouch poses, and recovery movements reminiscent of 32-bit titles. The princess is even voiced by a voiceover actress, which was rare for the 16-bit era. Though compared to many standout side-scrolling titles developed by both Capcom and Konami, it looks and feels most like a Japan-exclusive PS1 game, The Adventures of Little Ralph. A complete inbox Magical Poppin' is worth about $2,100. Rendering Ranger was released exclusively in Japan in 1995. It was developed by Rainbow Arts and programmed by the creator of the Turrican series. Only about 10,000 copies were produced, making it one of the rarest SNES titles ever released. The game blends run-and-gun platforming with horizontal shoot-'em-up stages, which are reminiscent of both Contra and R-Type. It features 9 levels with huge pre-rendered 3D-style bosses and fast-paced cinematic visuals. It was recently acquired by Ziggurat Interactive and relaunched globally on PC, the PlayStations, and the Switch, as well as a new physical SNES edition by Limited Run Games compiling both the Japanese Rendering Ranger and the unreleased Western prototype known as Targa. So finally, in the #1 spot for the most expensive Super Famicom games, Rendering Ranger complete in box goes for $3.5 thousand. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos.